and also wherever you are, I wish you a very good day. Today is a day where we meet for the first time for the new year. So thank you very much for joining once again in this new year. We thought for ourselves that this would be the best topic to start with. So to kick off the new year, we selected this particular topic. So let's see what it says. But I thought for myself, these days, for somewhat reason though, we have rains in Sri Lanka, or especially in Colombo. So I thought the best opening would be to start with rain. So here you are, in your screen, you will be able to see now the rains falling down, the heavens opening, and the rain droplets falling down. So when rain falls down, what do we normally do? What do we normally do? Either we stay like this underneath the canopy, or we take refuge of some sort of shelter so that we don't get wet. But how long are we going to wait like this? How long are we going to stay like this? Or if not, if you decide to run or walk in this rain, what happens is that you will get wet. You will get wet. So think like this. If COVID happens to be the rain, should we be waiting, doing nothing under the canopy? Or without having any regard whatsoever to COVID, should we be carrying on with our lives? That's the second picture that you have onto your right hand side here. The person running with rain, getting wet all over the place. If not, you have another option. And that option is this. Either you have your vehicle, you get into the car, you get going with your journey without getting wet. Without getting wet. If not, you get into your cycle, you have the umbrella, still you go ahead with your journey, you don't get wet. Or, a little bit here and there, but nevertheless, you take this action. You can't stop the rain, can you? You can't. COVID, you cannot stop exactly. No, you cannot. It'll be there for some time. As good as the rain will cease at some point, it will be there. But we shouldn't be staying wherever we are just like that for days, months, weeks, if not for years. No, we shouldn't be. Neither we should not be totally, having no regard at all to COVID and get going with our normal things. No, that is also not the case. But we should do something or the other, some precautions, and go ahead with our lives. This is what we are going to talk during this day. So I thought for myself, let's break this whole thing into how it has affected our family. So let's say the first one happens to be, give me 1 minute. Just trying to take the slides. Right, here you are. So the first topic is how it affects the family. Lots of people have gone into this, working from home. Second one, I thought we should talk about, we have some of us where our wages, our salaries have got cut. Third one, I thought for myself, we should address losing employment totally. You go redundant. This thing also has happened. And the fourth one are children. Children losing school life. This is also something that has happened during COVID. And the fifth one I want to raise is the pressure that our children have from online classes. Last but not the least, I cannot forget the youth. That's this. Social pressures and addictions to youth brains. basically to our youth. These are the 6 topics that I intend talking with you today. Let's talk about these issues, and also I will try to give some solutions to these. Let's kick off with the first one. As you see, here you are, you have this person working from home. You see the picture. This could be all too, a common sight to many of us. Many of us, even during COVID period, or even some of us still work like this. Not only the husband, even our wives are also working, or whoever, both of you could be working like this. Let's start off with the challenges and the effect on family. This is what I'm trying to address during this. Let's see the first one. Without noticing, the person who is working from home gets addicted to this. I will tell you the best thing. I have a friend of mine. He sits in front of his laptop. He starts off around 7:30 or so. He keeps on going till about 10:30, 11 in the night. Can you imagine? Even if he stops for lunch, he will go for his lunch with his smartphone next to his table. Next to the plate, you have the smartphone. Without you knowing, you have got addicted. You've got addicted. Let's see what the second one is. And that is, when you are working, you come to realize that if I don't perform like this, my productivity will drop. So I have to put on more hours in order to hit that productivity. Now, the people who work from home, especially if you are on that executive level or anything above that, you would agree with me in what I'm talking. This becomes a big issue when you are working from home. You want to make sure that you are in par with the other colleagues, if not above that line also. To hit that above line, what happens is that you put on more hours. This is happening. And the third one that I want to say is, when you are seated like that in the same posture for hours and hours, what happens is that you don't have a single exercise at all. Nothing. And that leads, mind you, to kick off various sicknesses. It's not only now we start seeing people who are above 50s having non-communicable diseases like high blood pressure or diabetes or even, let's say, high cholesterol. Even at lower ages now, the hospitals have started seeing these things. And this working from home has also contributed for that. Next thing, less time spent with family. When you are seated and starting from 7:30, let's say going on till 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, maybe 9:30. When you are putting a lot of hours like that, what happens is that the time you are physically at home, true enough, but the time that you spend with your family has just, drastically dropped down like that. So when the interaction becomes lesser, the problems start coming up to the family. Next one. What happens with that is getting isolated from the society. You are stuck inside the house. You don't have any connections with the outside world. Only connection that you have is with your working place. With your working place. So when that happens, your friendships, the connections that you have with your neighbors, everything drops down. So the usual, the style of having that communication with your neighbors, with your friends, with your people in your place of worship, all these things go down. Working from home, how it affects. Let's say the last one. in this particular slide. Less or no time for prayers. When the father is in front of the laptop, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, even the prayers gets neglected. It gets neglected. I'm telling you. When the wife is calling, come, let's say prayers, the father will tell, look, I have this thing and I have to finish this thing. I have this project. I need to finish this thing. After we finish, we will do it. And when he finishes, don't worry. Your son, who is that teenager, he is with another laptop, or he's watching TV. He will tell, I am watching this movie, or I am watching this serial. Once I finish this, I will come. If you think I'm telling something from Mars or Venus, tell me. These things are happening from home when we get into working from home. These are the issues that we have. Let's see the answers. I want to tell you the answers also, the solutions also. What do I propose? First thing is this. You need to have a timetable. In the Bible, in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, starting from verse 1, there is a beautiful part which says, it starts off like that. There's a time for everything. A time to be born and a time to die. What is he saying? God is telling, for everything there is a time. Everything there is a time. Even to work, there is a time. There should be a time to rest. There should be a time to sleep. There should be time with the neighbors. There should be time for your family. We need to set this timetable right. Tonight, ask for yourselves. Do I have a timetable? Or am I going on and on and on? It is very important that we draw up that timetable. We need to do it. If you don't have it, write it. Tonight is the best night. Write it. At least after this program, do it. Address each and every point that you would like to have in your family life. Very important. Second one, time to close the computer. You must have that thing written up here. At this time, I'm going to close the laptop. Yes, you need to do it. Don't wait until you have a chest pain to stop. I'm telling you. Don't wait until you fall sick. And when you go to the hospital and when the doctor tells you to do these tests and for you to see the numbers shooting up. No, we don't need to wait until that time. Think about it. Number 3, be comfortable to say no. You cannot tell for everything, yes, I will do, I will do, I will do. No, there are certain things that you need to say, no, I cannot do. There's nothing wrong. God hasn't given each one of us all the talents of this entire world. No. 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 There are certain things that we cannot do. So we need to be comfortable in saying, look, when someone tells or requests you to do something, if you are unable to, if it is not in your timetable, if it is something that you cannot do it, that will affect your family life, be straightforward. Have the guts to say, no, sorry, I cannot do it. Or not at this time. This is why we have these words in our vocabulary. Yeah? We need to think. Next one. Check from your spouse. He is the best person. If you've been contravening the timetable, maybe you might not know because you've got addicted to it so much. Your wife will come and ask from you. Wife or your spouse, your husband might come and tell you, look, You've been telling me that you are coming for lunch from this time. I've been waiting, waiting, and waiting for the past 1 hour. I have already served. I'm also hungry, waiting for you, but you haven't showed up. You are still staring at the laptop screen. Yes, these things are happening. So we need to ask from our spouses whether we have broken all the rules. Interaction with friends. In your timetable, you must have that one line to call up a friend, if possible, to visit a friend, if possible, at least to speak to the neighbor. Yes, these are things that we should do during this time. The last one, important, sleep, rest. Ask from yourselves, how many hours have I been sleeping during the past week? Past week. Yes. Is it 8 hours? Or maybe 5 hours? Or 6 hours? Or is it 4 hours? The more you break the sleep cycle, I will tell you, this machine is going to bum, bum, bum. It needs rest. God has given us this nature, the cycle, to put the sun go down and the whole place to become dark. Why? It's because he wants you to rest. Because that's the time where all these cells are going to rejuvenate, to get repaired. If we don't give time for that, what will happen? The system will break. We need to do these things. Very important. Let's get into the second one. If you can remember, the second one was the salary cut. So when you have these things in place, wow, you feel like this. Excellent. That's what it is. This is how the feeling is. This picture tells you. All right, let's get into the second one. That's the one, the salary cut. So during the COVID period, some of us, we've got our wages, the salary, the month-end salary, cut. Some could be 50%, some could be 25% cut, some could be 40% cut. Yes, some of us, we must have got like this. Let's say, so what are the challenges and effects on family? The first one, no or limited normal comforts. You know, we may have been having aircon at home. Maybe we may have been having, 3 great meals, per day. A great vehicle, things like that you may have been having. But with the salary cut, what happens is that you don't have resources anymore to cover all those. So you feel the pinch. Let's see the second one. Paying back the loans, leasing, the bills. With a salary cut, it becomes a little bit of a task, I would say, to settle these things. Yes, the leasing, the vehicle will go off, maybe 2 premiums not paid. It's difficult to pay with a salary cut. I'm not having the usual income per month. I cannot do it anymore. Some of you may have had these things. Third one, limit food and beverages. Now, you may have had, Friday nights, Saturday nights, maybe you may have been having, great evenings, great dinners, night outs, whatever you may have been having. But with the salary cut, what has happened is that now You must be feeling that, look, we can't afford to have those things. Can't afford to have those things. So night outs have dwindled. Dwindled. Cannot have any more. Not being able to do those extra things such as going on parties. See the last one, giving donations, wherever. If you've been a supporter to various places, maybe you are not able to do those things. Family trips, outings, overseas trips, maybe you cannot do those things anymore because the income that you have has got a cut. Has got a cut. You cannot avoid these things. This is what COVID has brought to us. Let's see what are the solutions, the answers. Now you can see the picture. Just see this picture here. Tightening of the belt. Tightening of the belt. That's the theme in these answers. Okay, so chance to increase the knowledge. That is important. When you don't have the regular income coming, what you can do is you increase your knowledge so that you can get yourself involved in other areas where you could give your service and start getting something. Start getting something. I have a friend of mine, I will tell you. I have a friend of mine who had his salary cut by 50%. Family was in trouble. The first couple of months, they somehow managed things. But the next few months or so, they had difficulties. And what did this young father do? What he did was, he started reading, he started learning a little bit on IT stuff. Yes. And then he applied for a part-time online thing. He increased his knowledge on IT, and now he's having these two little incomes, which just makes him be that little get into the comfort zone. Comfort zone. Come to the second one. Cutting down on expenses. This is important. We need to draw a line and say, look, we shall not do this thing on Friday nights. We will stop going to movies for some time. Movies outside, where the tickets are very high. You have to spend more. Let's not get into buying new clothes, signature clothes for some time, so that we can cut down these things and manage ourselves. What are we doing? We are tightening our belts. Important. Third one, refrain from obtaining loans. Very important. Very important. This is a time where a lot of us start thinking of obtaining loans. We must think for ourselves. We should refrain from doing it. Other than it is really, really necessary, if you are sure, you must do a small little risk analysis to say that, can I pay this thing back? If you are able to, it's worth. If not, you must make every effort possible to refrain from taking loans. I'll tell you something that happened a couple of years back, not during COVID, but a little earlier than that. This husband was working in a big institution, a financial institution, where he had taken a lot of loans. And some of those loans never had any insurance. He had not taken any insurances. So what happened? All of a sudden, this husband died. In his family, there were 2 children also. growing up children. So the husband's remains were brought home, and during that time, people came to pay their last respects. And there were these people who gave this husband loans also came to pay respects. And when they were leaving, they met this wife and they said, look, your husband has taken all these loans from us. I hope at some point, once all these things have settled, you will be making these payments to us. Think for yourself. If you take these big loans and all of a sudden, Christ decides to take your life away, what will happen to your family? Think. Let's get on the fourth one. Other legal methods of earning, not illegal methods. We must see what are the other avenues. Like my friend who got into that IT thing, he learned about it and he started working on it, and now he has started earning also. He's in a little bit of a comfort zone now. You must think for yourself. No, it's not worth to look at the sky and say, oh, it's raining. No. Start taking an umbrella. See what are the other avenues that we have to earn something. That'll push you. That'll push you on the right direction. Next one. Time to relearn sacrifices, what they are. Time to learn about it. It is very important. There are some things that we need to sacrifice. Sacrificing is not very easy. It's not very easy. But God gives us a time, each one of us, a time to learn these little sacrifices. If you are able to sacrifice certain things at home, especially these expenses, you will ride this wave and overcome. Very important. So the theme is tightening our belts. This is the time to do that. Okay. Last but not the least, working as a team. Everyone in the family must get together, especially if you have teenagers who are at home. Don't leave them outside the circle. No, don't do that. Bring them on board. Once you bring them on board, they will also know the gravity of this. Speak to them. Let them know what your plans are. Get them involved. Ask them for their suggestions also. They should feel what the parents are going through. And they will also contribute. See, the point is this. When the children give their ideas to you and you start putting those little ideas also to the equation, and when those ideas are working, what happens is that the child will start, the children will start to know that our ideas are also inside this, and they will also support. They will also give you that, push. Yes, Dad, no problem. This evening, we will stay without going to that place or without buying this stuff. We will go manage with this. They will tell. So it's important that you get this youth also, your teenagers also involved in this. Let's get to the next one. Redundant. Salary cut is one. Going redundant is another one. There are lots of people who lost their jobs because of COVID, or maybe it is happening still. We cannot omit this. We have to include it also. What is the first one? So the challenges and effect on family. Financial instability, definitely. All these months, if not for years, you've been earning. Your bank account continuously grew. All of a sudden, your employer decides to send you redundant because they don't have business. So just like this gentleman who is with the tie, carrying this box, chapter close, he's heading back home. Heading back home. What happens is that you don't have this salary coming into your bank anymore. Now you are running on reserves. So your financial instability plays a big role. There's no income anymore for you. No income. Next one. Then you start thinking on working on credit. Your credit card. You could be having a couple of credit cards and you could be working on those. You could be riding on those and the credit limits are now boom, 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 going up. You've lost your job. Maybe you know some friends who lost their jobs, now living on credit. These things happen. Fear of the future. When you head back home, maybe you are driving back home, now jobless, unemployed, 100 things come to your mind. You could be having sleepless nights. You could be wondering, how am I going to tell my, feed my children? You are unable to feed them, or you are unable to fulfill their needs. You are unable to complete or, satisfy their requirements because you don't have a job and there's no income. Quite a lot of them are in this groove. And with that, what happens is that you lose the status in the society. You feel a little bad to face people. You feel a little, sad and upset to tell, look, I've lost my job. So with that, what comes is that poor mental health. Negativity sets in. You feel that you are no more worth. You don't have anything now. Your visiting cards where the title was printed, gone. You could be looking at those and thinking for yourself, oh my goodness, I used to be like this, but not anymore. These are the things that crosses your mind when you lose your job, when you lose your employment. But we have answers for this also. We have answers for this also. I told you, never forget the umbrella. We have to take the umbrella. You cannot stop rain, but you have to carry the umbrella. Let's see what type of umbrellas, what type of vehicles do we have to get going on our journey without getting wet. First thing is to surrender this to our Lord. It's not the last thing, mind you. It's the first thing that you should do. When you come to know that you've lost employment, don't start thinking anything else. Give it to the Lord. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, Jesus said, come to me, whom you are loaded, burdened, with heavy laden, come to me and I will give you rest. Jesus never promised a job for you and me for the rest of our lives. No. But he said, if you lose your job, you have a problem, come to me. I will give you an answer. I will give you an answer. He never promised you a problem-free life, a COVID-free life. No. But what he says is that you come to me and I will give you the answer. He's ready with answers. Next one. Apply to other places. Don't sit at home with your hand like this, looking at the sky or staring at the telephone. Who is going to call me now, giving me a job? No. I will tell you, I have a friend of mine. She was working in the travel trade, lost her job. What did she do? She made her CV and started applying for various places. Various places. She got into a field where she has never been. Never been. But she had this commitment. She had this great commitment. Today, she's in a different field, having a great income, enjoying her job. So start applying to various other places. Don't sit there and wait. Next thing is a new budget. Now, you may not be having your job. Can you just stay? Can you just continue to spend whatever you have, your resources, your reserves? Can you afford to go on paying to those things the way that you used to do when you had the job? No, you can't. You can't do it. So you need to sit and draw up a new budget. This is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. I will tell you a good example. Recently, I was in one of my friends' places. And while I was there, a little girl came. So I asked from my friend, who is this little girl? Maybe about 4 years or 5 years or something. About 5 years, I think, this little girl, small one, came to this house. So I asked from my friend, who is this? So he said, no, she is from next door, the small one. She used to come to our place, school holidays. So she used to come. So it was around 10:30, 11. I was there. So he asked from me, would you like to have a cup of tea and all that? I said, yeah, why not? So his wife went and made some tea for me and for him, for her, and to the little one also. Little one also. You know what the little one said? Little children don't tell lies, very rarely. The little one told my friend, uncle, thank you for the tea, because these days we don't drink tea at home for 10:30 and 3 o'clock. My eyes went like that. After some time, I asked from my friend, what did the little one say? He told me, no, because her father has lost the job. So now they have gone to a new budget, and the new budget does not have tea, 10:30 and 3 o'clock. Think for yourself. If you can take something out of this experience, take it. Let's go to the next one. Setting even to a lower salary. Now, I will tell you a good thing, another experience. There was a person who applied for a job. And during pre-COVID era, let's say his salary was like $2,000 US. $2,000 US. With COVID time, jobs, not much. So when he applied, he got a salary of 1,200. He got a salary of 1,200. And he told the recruitment company, no, I will not come. I will not come. I will wait for my normal wages. And what did the recruitment agents told him? He said, okay, well, good. In that case, we will give this opportunity to someone else. And then he also said, what will happen to you is you will lose this opportunity also. Think about it. Will you wait for that $2,000 to come, or would you like to start earning with 1,200 at least? It is very important to understand this. No big rocket science in this. Should we wait having nothing, or at least settle for something and start receiving that income. Very important. Think in these lines. Next one, chores which we could not attend. When we were working, we could not visit our friends. We could not get involved in let's say, your place of worship, your associations, helping others, visiting neighbors. Maybe you could not do. Here you have time now. Get involved in these things. Don't stay idle. Who knows, when you get yourself involved in some maybe church activities, some associations, you might have some friends. You start networking. Once they come to know that you are without a job, they might tell you, hey friend, would you like to come and work for me? Or would you like to work at that place? I know those people. I will give a small recommendation about you. All those things happen if you come out of the shell. That is what is important. Come to the last one. If you have a garden, I suggest, as long as you are able to, if you can walk, if you can bend, if you can squat, if you can do these things, if you are able to sweep, I will tell you, if you have a small garden, get going. Plant some vegetables. Yes, it'll only help you. It'll put your budget down. It is good for your wallet. Yes, God is ready to get the plants up, provided we plant the seed. Can you? If you don't have a big garden, you can put them even in pots. Yes. Think about it. These are the few answers that I want to suggest. Let's go to the next one. Children losing schooling life or school life. You can see here. Look at this. The class is empty. Children are not there. Not there. So what are the challenges that the children have? First thing, breakdown in education. Most of the children could not attend classes. Up and until the online classes came up, they could not. Even with online classes, most of the children, the way they used to have education, they're not having it anymore. They are not having it anymore. This is the reality. Second one is a little bit of a touchy one. Domestic violence set in. When the children are at home doing nothing, this is where, that idle mind is the devil's, place. So a lot of, voices, noises, volumes, high tones have come in. Yes, because the kids are at home. The mothers, the fathers, they cannot tolerate. Yes, I have a friend of mine who is a teacher. She was telling me the other day, parents are calling her to ask, when are you starting school? We want to send our children to the school because it's pandemonium at home. Yes, parents are telling. Next one, activeness of children dropped in some places. Why? Because they are not going to school anymore. If they are going to school, they will be involved in a lot of extracurricular activities. Those things are not there anymore. So they are stuck inside the house. They are stuck inside the house. They are unable to go for band practices. They are unable to go for cricket practices. They are unable to go for basketball practices. They are unable to go for choir practices, whatnot. They are stuck inside. So the activeness part of it has taken a small dip. They are at home. So their holistic development, their growth has taken a hit. Friendships disappeared. Since they're at home, they cannot associate with friends anymore. They cannot associate with their friends anymore. So they are stuck at home. That has also dwindled. So as a result of it, what has happened is selfishness has raised its ugly head. You think for yourself, me and myself. I and me, and that's about it. You don't come across friends who need something because you're not going out, you're not interacting. So as a result of it, you become very selfish. Become very selfish. The last one is a touchy one. Addicted to digital devices. Why? It's because they have got into online classes, which is the next one. They've got addicted to it. We'll talk about it a little later. A little later. What are the answers? What are the answers? The first one, support and commitment of the parents. Now, this is something that we as parents, we must do. If we let the children be on their own with these devices, rest assured, the children will be gone. So it is very important the parents get themselves committed to it, involved in it, really, I would say, to ask from them, what did you do? Can I know what you did? What are those things that you studied? Speak to the teacher if possible. You must get involved in it. The second one, attention to their books to be increased. What has happened is these days, children are on the digital world. They are on smartphones. They are on iPhones, iPads, laptops, whatnot. As a result of it, the book reading and the writing has disappeared. Disappeared. When you write, you see, when you write this way, when you write that way, letters going this way, letters going that way, there are certain things that gets into the brain tracks. That's in a nutshell. It is very important. If you are able to talk, write in 2 languages, all the more better. All the more better. The more you give it to this, not this way to this, but this way to this, that's good. Very important. Let's get to the third one. Need to increase discipline. What has happened is that children staying at home, they've gone a little out in terms of discipline. The voices have become like that. The volumes, the tones have gone up. We need to do something about it. If we as parents don't do, don't expect the neighbors to do. Don't expect the friends to do. Don't expect their friends. No, never. Never. The fourth one. Support children to be independent. We also need to do that. As good as we support the children with their studies, we need to tell them to be independent. Today, I'm helping you with this. Tomorrow, I like to see you between this time to this time, you do this thing and please show it to me. And you follow up on that. You follow up on that. So the child knows tomorrow dad is going to ask about it. I must keep it ready. If you don't set timelines, how can they learn to work for a timetable? It's important that we do it. Next one, family activities and siblings play. When they are at home, no school life, when they are at home, you must get them involved in family activities. Cleaning up at home, house chores, important. As long as they are big enough, you must give. If they are girls, get them involved in cooking. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Yes. If you have sons growing up, give those chores where muscle gets involved. Yes. Absolutely nothing wrong. They love it. They want to show themselves that, look, I've got muscles. I'm a man. I like to do those things. Get them involved in those. Very important. Right. Last one, family prayers. When all are at home, I don't see why we cannot pray together. Remember the saying? The family that prays together stays together. Pray together. Set a time. In that timetable, right at this time, come what may, we all sit and we pray. Very important. We get into the next one. Online classes. Online classes. It's a very common word these days, online classes. So what are the challenges that we have? First thing is this. Today's online classes are day and night both. There are some, small children will have daytime classes, but if you are a teenager, you will have even nighttime classes. It has gone to that level. Next one, we cannot avoid from these things. Effect on eyes. Just imagine these children looking at these screens for a long time. They break their eyesight very fast because there's something called pixels that come out of the screen. When you are exposed to it for a long time, these children's growing up eyes get affected. Ask for yourself. I don't know. If you have kids, are they wearing glasses? From when did they start telling you, Dad, my eyes are aching? Ask. These things have started happening in our families. Concentration for long hours. It's not very easy. It's not very easy to sit in one place and to concentrate on a screen for hours and hours. It is not very easy. We must understand these things. For long hours, the teachers are expecting you to be there, one teacher after the other, or the same teacher is taking so many subjects. Next one, siblings and facilities. If you have in your family 2 children, if you have in your family 3 children, all those 3 children need to do online classes. You have to buy, you have to do things somehow to meet these demands. Very important. These things are happening. Not only that, you have to put data into this. Not all mothers and fathers have their wallets full of money to pump data to these phones. No, these are issues that we have. No or less physical activities. So when children are seated for a long time, now at least in school they have an interval. But here with daytime and nighttime classes, online classes, they are more or less have become those couch potatoes. Like that. They're seated. In fact, it's a little quiet. They are inside their rooms, in front of the screen. Trouble. Last one. Effect on the finances of the family. I touched it. When you have 2, 3 children, what happens? Even if you have one and doing daytime, nighttime, both classes, problem on the finances. So the father or the mother or both the parents have to set their budgets for this. You cannot forget. So you look at the last couple of months, how it has been, and you set it for this month. And then you forecast what it should be for the next month. Very important. What are the answers? Let's quickly run through. Activities between the lessons. So if you are a teacher, this is a good thing. Between the lessons, try to give some activity. Get involved. Or you put a form and ask, tell the name. Like this, Graham, what do you think the answer is? Or Anand, what do you think or what do you say about this? Ask, make it a little interactive. Then the children will get involved. Next one, breaking it up into short segments. Don't have 45 minutes classes. If you are a parent, propose these ideas to your teachers. Make it 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Ask for yourselves, can you sit for about 2-3 hours at a stretch, staring at a small screen? What do you think about children? It is very important. Break it into small segments. Next one, Q&A sessions in between. I told you about it. Ask a question or two. Don't ask a question from the same person, but instead ask the next question from a different person. Once again, if you are a parent, propose these ideas. Next one, bringing in variety. This is also important. Narrating experiences. Now, when I'm talking to you, I bring in experiences that I have, what I have seen. It makes all the more worth. We as human beings, we love to hear stories. If you are a teacher, if you are a person who is doing online classes, tell a story or two. You can keep the children glued to your sessions. Providing notes on WhatsApp, this is also another one. If you are a teacher, once again, doing online classes, I suggest don't keep telling things on this throughout the whole thing. Instead, there are certain things that you can send as a WhatsApp message, some notes for them. It'll save time. It'll bring in some variety, right? So they can concentrate these things a little later, right? Important. Next one, last one in this. Parents support, for example, internet downloads. There are some things that we as parents also could do for our children who are following online classes. What we can do is to support them with whatever the information that they need through downloads, through pictures and things like that. That'll help them. That'll help them. With that, we come to the last segment. This was the last one. Social pressures and addictions to youth brains. You can see this picture of this girl. Look at the eyes. Glued. No talk, nothing. 100% concentration. The first one that I want to see. So what are the challenges to the family? Addiction to digital devices. If you have a teenager, or let's say you have a daughter, a son who is in early 20s, maybe 19, 20, 21, 22, like that. This is the I gen or the Z gen, right? With this digital addiction, what has happened to them is, you will agree with me with what I'm telling you, most of you, they've become very impulsive. They've become very impulsive. They are with this addiction that has set in, they have started, their ideas are switching over one to the other very fast. The relationships that they have become very short-lived ones. Short-lived ones. Today they will have a friendship with someone lasting for a couple of days, and then a next one, like that. Short-lived ones. Also, their temperament has gone up. They get angry very fast. Very fast. Their attention has dropped. I will tell you many things. They are listening to the voice of this. What did the Lord say? He said, listen to the voice. He said, my sheep listen to my voice. I gen, Z gen, youth. Are they listening to my voice? Or are they listening to the voice of this? Very important. They've gone a long way with this. We need to bring them back. Connection with the family has dwindled. Yes, they've got connected to the laptop or to the mobile phone. If you are a youth watching this program, this could fit in. This could fit in. Ask for yourself, how much time do I spend with my laptop or with my smartphone or the iPhone, and how much time do I spend with my family? Ask. Next one, improper relationships via social media. I have many like this, parents coming and telling me about this particular topic. because they cannot go out. As a result of it, they meet friends from social media. One thing that you do not know is these people who come from social media do not actually show who they are. Who they are. I will tell you a good example. The way I talk to you now, and if I saw you, if I'm to see you physically in front of me, the way I talk, will it be different or same? If I send you a SMS, or if I see you in person and if I talk, will there be a difference? Think. And when you come on social media, you can put a different picture. You don't disclose your picture, but you show a different picture. You bring in people to put inside your bag to use. Now we are having people who have got relationships and they are even getting ready to get married. In the introduction you heard, I'm also a person who talks on pre-Cana. That is to prepare couples when they get married, you know, what to do, what not to do, and things like that. And when I asked from them how they have met each other, some of them, they say from social media. Social media. Next one, obstacle for holistic development. Yes, because they cannot go out. So as a result of it, youth are stuck inside. Different ways, you know, you have to go out. You need to get yourself involved. You need to have those relationships. You need to interact with people. All that is lost. So as a result of it, your holistic development is not taking place. It's not taking place. Next one, hurdle for their growth in talents. You could be having youth at home. You know, they're good singers. Maybe they are good people who could play musical instruments, or people who could go out and swim, whatever. But those things are no more now important. This is the danger. Abyss without parents' knowledge. Youth, iGen, ZGen have got their own rooms in our houses. In those rooms, when you go inside, I will tell you, it's like a different world. A different world. The other day, a person called me and said, after seeing a program, he called me and said, "Sir, I have a 14-year-old daughter. This daughter is so addicted to the phone, she does not even come to eat with us." Yes. For months and months, I haven't seen her around that same table eating with us. Forget about prayers. A 14-year-old daughter. They don't know what is happening inside that room. Quickly, we will run through the answers. What can we do? Vigilance during COVID times on children. You have to be very vigilant if you are a parent. Second one, knowing the friends and the websites. If you are able to come to know the friends your children are associating. Very important. The saying goes like this: if you know your child's friends, you know your child. You know your child. Think on these things. Very important. Take action if there are any behavioral changes. If your son, if your daughter has got behavioral changes, it's a sign that you have to activate. You have to change courses. You have to seek assistance. This is what it is. Being a good example to children also matters. You can't tell your child not to get addicted to the phone if you are a person who has got addicted to the phone. It is very important. You show by your example. Very important. Last one in this, let not isolation rule the house. If your house is very quiet, no noises, Everyone, they are inside their homes. Wife is busy with her phone. Husband is busy with his work. And the children are inside their rooms. No noise, nothing. Eating from outside. Online food is coming home. Am I ringing some alarm bells? Think. If isolation is ruling, your family is not going right, you have to seek assistance. It is very important. We come to the summary before I conclude. First one, what we spoke was about working from home. You might remember the picture that you have on your far right, or where the way you are seated. Your far right one is a man who was working from home, and with the answers, he felt, wow, good. That was the first one we spoke. The second one was about the salary cut. Remember, tightening of the belt, important. The third one, going redundant, man who lost his job, but the person who applied for other places, who settled for even for a lower salary. That's the picture that you have here. And the next one that we discussed was children losing their schooling life. Remember the classroom which was empty. Here you have the parent who is actively supporting, committed for it. And then came online classes where the son was sitting in front of the screen for long hours, losing everything. And here you have the son with a smiling face, with short intervals, with a lot of activity inside, with a lot of experiences being narrated by the teachers. The last one that we spoke was social pressures and addictions to youth brains. Here you have the youth, or the iGen girl or the ZGen girl who is with the mobile phone. And here you are on the right hand side. Here you see the father getting actively involved, talking to the son about it and getting him out of this big trouble that he is sitting in. The last picture I want to finish off with this. This is what we should be doing. We shouldn't be staying under the canopy forever. Neither we shouldn't be getting wet and running underneath this water. No, you shouldn't get wet either. But what you should do is you have to continue your journey in that vehicle underneath the umbrella without waiting, without getting wet. That's the message that I want to give you tonight. So that's John chapter 19, verse 30. Jesus said, it is finished. And I'm telling you, it is finished tonight. And my last word, 2 words. Thank you so much for listening to me.